Hey there guys, it's Kagetak coming at you. In today's video, well, it's going to be an amalgamation of things. I mean, to start off, I did want to talk about the Guild War season, how that went. Uh, Also, though, I wanted to talk about how I'm not a fan of cluster guilds anymore, at all. Like, I lost 3 members, 2 to EOT and 1 to POH, and you might be wondering, well, how did that happen? Well, what they do is they just go onto the main chord. If they fight you in arena, they look you up, see if you're on the main chord for that Discord, and then they try and poach you through that way. Which they got 3 of my guys, and they tried to grab collectively 20 out of my group. Like, I I just don't know if it's like, what do you do in that situation? I mean, I'm glad most of my guys were like, yeah, no, thank you. I don't want to leave my guild for a few more extra rewards, but does that happen to a lot of other people? Do you get like random DMs from people from these groups and they just try and get you like, whoa, I see here that you've got a great AdMech lineup. I'd like to have you come join our guild where we can teach you to be experienced players and like it's like used car salesman shit. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just I'm just like, what do I do here? Well, they couldn't poach Julio because Julio got banned from the Discord, so he was off the list. But they would have so heavily tried to get him, and they knew better than to just try and work on some of my officers. They knew better than to DM them. So they saw that Lucky Cat, I love you, but go down. They knew better than to go for them at least. So they were smart. They were tactical in that regard. But it's like leaving your guys on that Discord is a liability because these much bigger guilds that can promise these people the world will just try and snag them wherever they can. And I mean, it's one thing if you're putting up a post on Facebook or the Discord or Reddit and just having people come to you. Cool. But getting up in people's DMs and sending them these messages, uh, yeah. And if anybody does want evidence, I'm not gonna post it up on this video, but I'll post some screenshots up in my Discord if people want to see who's kind of the dirty parties on that. But I mean, it's not hard to tell when I already told you who kind of managed to grab people in that regard. But it's just I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. Apparently you can though. There's no rule breaking that. So I mean, if you were hard up on people, apparently that's something you can do. So I guess just go DM happy. But yeah, I don't know. It's a vicious cycle. I mean, you like Iron Warriors, for example. They burned out 4 people, and people knew that they were going to be aggressively recruiting, and I was the unlucky recipient of that one. Well, I'm glad I could fill your ranks, I guess, but good luck to those guys if they thought they had it hard in my guild. Wait till they see what's in store for them there. So, yeah. But anyway, so this guild season was magical. Needless to say, I'm recruiting. I've got spaces open, more spaces than I know what to do with. I've got currently 3 spaces open. I had one guy join, but he obviously wasn't going to use Discord, so we kicked him immediately. But still, so for this season, it was all over the board. And of course, that crashed right as I'm getting ready to show that. Let me fix that real quick. It's just one of those days. Let's get that up and running. Let's try this again. Let's get back in here. Let's see if that resyncs up. Okay. So yeah, we barely skated by at 99 for this season. And what happened was we lost one guy because they didn't use Discord. They were never going to get on. I didn't realize they weren't, which could have used them for a really hard fight. We fought these guys called Korea Top, and they were like 230, 240 mil power, and it was a close fight. But we lost. We just didn't have the participation on our end. If we had like one more person or two more people attack, we could have potentially overturned it. But that fight went south, and we had the other four fights for Battlefield 3 went relatively well. Everybody was kind of closely matched for the most part, except that Korea Top fight where we were fighting like a they had the superior offense. We had them on defense in terms of the power, but they just had the arsenal. They were able to really just crush us into the ground, and that's kind of sadly that is the best strategy for this mode, is to just try and get into a battlefield where you are close to cap, where you have the advantage, and you just play that way. So I can't fault them for it. I did it in Battlefield 2 for forever and a day. However, something interesting did happen so our fifth battle concluded. We were down two people at that point. We had one person who got poached by POH, and we'll call that person Plato, and then another person who literally is Salt, who didn't want to get on Discord, so they both left. So it was like, oh, we're at 28. There was no way we were doing Battlefield 3, so we went and we pushed down to Battlefield 2, and we fought this one guild. I have to look them up to show you what we were against, because it was crazy. Like, I had never seen a guild like that. Let me look them up here. It was a very, very interesting fight. I think I posted it on the Discord, and I'll search it up from there. But it was just like, when they say don't switch battlefields mid-guild or mid-fight, don't switch battlefields. Do not. If you're at like 4, stay at 4. If you're at 3, stay at 3. I mean, well, you know what? Maybe do it, because some people do like a fight. Maybe you should do it, because this one was an interesting battle. Here they are, I think. Okay. This was like some weird group. Like, I've never encountered these guys before, and they were down one person, so that was at least good for us, because we were down 2, so it wasn't. Yeah, okay, and they're still down 1 too. It's not easy getting people, but these guys were like 2x our power. We're both in Battlefield 2 fighting, and this was still a close match. But it was like, man, how did we land on this? Like, I don't know. I was hoping we got something a bit easier, just like, because again, we're down 2 people. Being down guild members in this battle is not fun, and being down against a guild like this, like these guys, I think they're like top 20 or 30 for guild rate too. They're very well put together. They've got high power, but you could tell that I don't think war is much of their thing. They've placed 313 here, but also then again, they may have just been in Battlefield 2 the entire time. But still, it was just like, yeah, don't go down battlefields. And as you can see, we're at 123 right now. I think at the time we were at 130. But it was just like, if we had fought those guys in Battlefield 3, we would have been in some trouble. And it's hard to like give people or recommend people a right level of power to go into a battlefield, because sometimes you can get seated very well depending on where you fall. Like if you're a 90 million power guild, let's say in Battlefield 4, and there's a bunch of guilds relatively around that same grouping, you could have the time of your life there, especially if you're really coordinated and you're big about Guild War and you use most of your tokens. You could just wipe the floor with the other 5 guilds you're fighting, or the other 6 guilds you're fighting. Take them down, no problem. The issue is, though, that you don't always get that perfect grouping. You end up in a 5-1 scenario, maybe even a 4-2, and the rewards just aren't good enough to really justify taking more than like one loss overall. I mean, in our case, we still got top 100. We did well, but it was just like, what are these guys doing here? Like, I thought we were big fish when we were doing Battlefield 2 back when we were at, like, 80 million power or 100 mil power. But it was just like, okay, are these guys, I'm guessing these guys are the top of the list because of us moving down. But yeah, it was fun in a way. It was a very fun fight to play it there, where basically 90% of their power was kind of locked away. Like they had to kind of play things on a smaller level, and we had to do the same. But we've done Battlefield 2 a lot, so I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like if you play the lower levels, you kind of have a better feel of what you can get away with, as opposed to if you're going against more of just, let's say, diamond or gold teams and some silver. But in the bronze area, there's some stuff you can do, and you can really just have some fun with. But yeah, no, I was actually surprised we won that fight, because I was looking at that like what have we gotten ourselves into here? So yeah, I don't know. It's just, and another thing that kind of circle back to the beginning of my little rant is, it's like, it's kind of hard to get ahead in this game when you've got all these like big clusters just trying to grab people. Like if we were to sit down here and look at, let's even say, the top 100 of all these guilds that we have here, how many of these do you think are part of some cluster? Or, well, just even the 50 that we can see here, how many of those do you think are part of some cluster? Would you say like 70% of them or more? Like, I don't know. I don't see the value in it. To me, I've played in like Xur guilds and stuff before, and if you're not in the best guild, you're in the worst guild essentially, and it's just, I don't know. Just never been a fan of that. It's just your spare parts, which I get it. I mean, hell, maybe I should start a cluster. That way I can just, have spare parts on the ready to go to grab people whenever and just banish people to the Shadow Realm or something. But I don't know. It's not my style. I don't see myself ever going that route. I'm just going to keep doing our own little independent thing here. But I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on everything? The Guild War itself, the rewards, heck, even like poaching with cluster guilds. Is that something that's happened to you? Or I don't think it was only my guild that was affected, because I had seen 2 other separate discords bring up the potential of that one guild poaching hard because they were down 4 players, and I was like, oh, I got nothing to worry about. Nobody here is complaining. Everybody's pretty happy. But well, I guess the allure of more boxes, it's like, I can't promise you all the boxes in the world. I can promise you some interesting times. That's a definite. But I'm not going to turn this into a job so you get more rewards in a mobile game. I just want you to show up and do your thing. That's it. That's it. That's all I want. I'm very simple. I don't care about builds. I don't care about other stuff. Just show up, use your tokens, use your raid tokens. That's all. That's all I want. I'm very simple. I mean, I feel like we're still very blessed to be in like even here the top 100. We barely squeaked it out this time. I think we got top 100 in raid last time as well, and even in guild raids we got like 60 something. I think 60 wasn't 69. Let me see where we ended up. I know Nomad posted it somewhere. Or I think I even posted it somewhere as well. Somebody was asking about it. Where did we end up? Let's see. It's one of those times. Man, I wish they saved that score instead of it getting overwritten the exact time like the new war starts, because it's gone now, so the only way to know is a actual screenshot. 63. Okay, we got 63, which I feel like we're getting closer to breaking into the top 50. I mean, maybe this season's going to be rough. I mean, I went hard on AdMech. I'm expecting my comeuppance hard. But I mean, we almost did like 3 laps this time. Somebody told me a while back, I forget who it was, in like the main core, it's like once you do 1 lap, it starts getting easier. And they weren't kidding. They were spot on. Things were pretty accelerated. Like once you start getting the hang of things and you start going about it, yeah, like it's just wild. But well, now I gotta find people so I can get back to it. But it's just like, man, these cluster guilds don't make it easy. They'll kneecap anybody to get their seats filled. Like they don't care. Like, reputation, that doesn't mean anything to them. But I guess they don't know me. Like I'm willing to call you out for this stuff and to make some noise and advocate for people. I mean, I'm just, yeah, I know a couple of these clusters tried to like get me to join them early on, and I said no. And maybe some of them are still salty about that. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Zerg guilds, and I'm not a fan of that whole poaching business. It's one thing you put up an ad, somebody comes to you, cool, great. That's fair game. But to just kind of like get into people's DMs and beat them down into joining, that's kind of jerkery, as Rada would put it. But anyway, on that note, I'm hoping next season we see some changes to rewards. I'm kind of a little burned out of Guild Wars. I'm hoping we get some new stuff here at some point. We got, what, 14 days? I got 14 days to get 3 to 4 people. Well, let's see. Yeah, 3 to 4 days, or 14 days to get 3 to 4 people. If that one guy joins Discord, cool. If not, well, I'm not going to go back on my my Discord being mandatory thing. I know one guy came in, joined, said he couldn't join Discord. It's like, bro, I just because I'm down a couple of people, I'm not. No. Discord's mandatory. I like it. It helps build a community. It gets you more involved with us as well, because at some point, maybe this game won't be around anymore. But the Discord will still be there. You'll still be able to come hang out with us, and we'll play something else at that point. Because I'm a long-term person here. I mean, we outlived Dragon Quest Tact. It died, but some of those people still came with me, and we all gave this game a shot. And between this guild and the sub-guild, I think I still have about 15 or so of those people. I mean, not in the main guild anymore, but about 15 or so in between both guilds. So, yeah, community is important. But anyway, with that being said, I will catch you on the next one. And yeah, man, I can't catch a break. I can't. Peace.